was kneeling in the mud, 3 meters from a baby lion freezing to death, when I saw the hyenas moving in. The cub looked at me, shivering, soaked through. His eyes said everything. "You're my only chance." And I couldn't touch him. If I did, my scent would stay on his fur, and when his mother came back, she might reject her own cub. Forever. Above us, vultures were already circling. On the horizon, dark clouds were rolling in. The storm would be here in less than an hour. Touching him meant rejection. Not touching him meant hypothermia. There was no right choice. But what happened when I found his mother changed everything I thought I knew about lionesses. 2 hours earlier, the sky had already given its warning. Heavy clouds stacking low as I patrolled the Mara River in the late afternoon. That's when I saw the tracks. Lioness. Deep impressions, edges already drying. And beside them, smaller prints, delicate. A cub. The story was written clearly in the mud. She had crossed during the night, when the river was still low, hunting on the far side. The cub stayed hidden in the grass, waiting. Then the rain came, hard, all morning. By midday, the river had tripled in strength. When the lioness tried to return, she couldn't cross. That's when I found him, curled beneath the roots of an old acacia, right at the muddy edge of the river. His golden fur, meant to be soft and bright, was plastered flat against his thin body like wet cloth. He must have slipped, trying to follow her. I stepped out of the vehicle slowly, every movement measured. The wind carried the sharp scent of the coming storm. And something else. Hyenas, somewhere behind me. The cub saw me, tried to back away. His tiny paws sank into the mud, too weak to run, too weak even to be afraid. I knelt down, 3 meters away, cold mud soaked into my knee. 2 weeks old, at most. His eyes, still that pale blue-gray of a newborn, met mine. They didn't hold instinct. They held exhaustion, a body giving up. He opened his mouth, tried to roar. What came out was a broken mewl, so faint the wind nearly carried it away. Then he took a step toward me, unsteady, trembling, as if saying, "Everything else is gone, but you're still here. Your mother didn't abandon you. I'll prove that." Every instinct in me wanted to pick him up, wrap him, warm that frozen little body. 20 years in the Savanna stopped me. Human scent on a lion cub isn't a rule you gamble with. It's a risk, one that can cost a life. I had to find his mother first. I maneuvered the vehicle into a half circle, creating a wall of metal between the cub and the hyenas. Headlights on, engine roaring. Predators respect size and noise. It worked. For a moment. I raised my binoculars, scanning the opposite bank. The river was violent, brown, water tearing past with branches and debris. No animal would cross that by choice. Where are you? Then I heard it, behind me. The laughter. That sharp, unhinged sound hyenas make when the hunt begins. I turned slowly. There weren't 3 anymore. There were 5. Closer. The lead female, ears torn from old fights, had moved 20 meters forward, testing me, measuring how long I would stay. She knew I couldn't stay forever. I hit the horn, floodlights straight into their eyes. They backed off, but they didn't leave. They spread wider, encircling. The wind shifted, colder. Hard rain began to fall. The temperature dropped fast. I looked at the cub. He had dragged himself to the tire, pressing his body against the rubber, searching for warmth. His body shook in violent spasms. His breathing grew shallow. Hypothermia was winning. Stay with me, little one. What if the mother never came back? What if I was watching him die? Because I followed a protocol written far from this mud. Where is the line between rules and letting a life fade right in front of you? I couldn't wait anymore. I left the engine running, lights blazing, and moved toward the riverbank. If the mother was alive, I had to find her now. I followed the tracks upstream. The mud told me everything. She had tried to cross again and again, deep claw marks on the opposite bank. The current pushed her back every time. She fought the river. The river won. 200 meters upstream, I climbed onto a rocky rise and lifted my binoculars. And then I saw her, on the far side, under a lone acacia, a lioness lying on her side. She wasn't resting. She was licking her hind leg over and over, obsessively. She refused to put weight on it. Even at a distance, the swelling was obvious. A serious injury. Rocks, or a crocodile. The wound was infected, angry, throbbing. Every step was pain. She hadn't abandoned her cub. She was trapped, too injured to cross. Listening to his cries while unable to reach him. 2 lives separated by the force of nature. A cub freezing on one side, a mother breaking on the other. I knew of a rocky crossing farther upstream. Dangerous on dry days. With this rain, almost suicidal. But it was the only chance. I ran back. The cub barely moved. Time was gone. There was no room for protocol anymore. I took the thermal blanket, let it fall over his body. No direct contact, only fabric between us. He didn't resist. He had no strength left. I placed him on the seat and drove. Rain hammered the windshield. The wipers struggled to keep up. Loose stones, water rushing hard between them. On the first attempt, the vehicle slid sideways, nearly tipping. On the second, the front tire dropped into a hidden hole. The engine roared. Nothing moved. I got out into the rain, jammed branches under the wheel, and pushed with my shoulder until the vehicle finally broke free. We made it across. I stepped out with the cub and walked toward the acacia. 50 meters. 40. 30. The lioness saw me, and she stood. Even injured, even limping, she came toward me. 400 pounds of muscle and instinct. Teeth bared. A low growl that vibrated in my chest. Every cell screamed to run. But predators chase what flees. Movement becomes prey. I stopped, breathed, lowered the cub to the ground with more care than I've ever used for anything. Then I stepped back, slowly, one step at a time, hands open, visible, not a threat. The lioness reached the blanket, stopped, lowered her head. She smelled him. Her entire body shuddered. A sound rose from deep in her chest, not a growl, something older. The sound of a mother recognizing her child. The cub answered, weak but alive. The growl vanished completely. She lay down beside him and began to lick. That ancient gesture, older than anything humanity has ever built. Her rough tongue over wet fur, again and again, warming him, drying him, saying without words, I'm here. You're safe. The cub melted into her warmth, the warmth I could never give. I stood there, 15 meters away, soaked, not breathing. Then she did something I will carry with me forever. She lifted her head and looked at me. Not with aggression, not with fear. A long look, direct, clear, as if she truly saw me. It lasted seconds. It felt like eternity. Then she turned back to her cub, as if to say, I know what you did. Now go. Take care of yours as I take care of mine. The rain eased. Light broke through the clouds. I returned to the vehicle and watched the two golden shapes beneath the acacia until the sun finally cut through the storm. On the drive back to base, I thought of everything the Savanna has shown me in 20 years. Cruelty without malice, beauty without explanation, losses I couldn't stop. And that look. Nature isn't cruel. It isn't kind. It simply is. And sometimes it allows us to be the bridge between a mother and her child, between the storm and the first light.